Buckle up. Welcome to Musicians and Beyond, where you learn the backstage info on the life, lyrics, and the long journeys of the music industry. Mark Lawhorn and John Sarabian are here in studio, and we have a extremely special guest. But first, Mark, I want to talk to you. Our last guest was unbelievable.
Yeah, very talented Taylor Bloom, wonderful kid, great charisma, great personality. He has a lot going for him as an actor and a singer and a songwriter. I think, the audience that's listening and going on to that episode really going to enjoy what they hear.
Yeah, I was very impressed by him. Really nice guy. I think we're going to hear more of him.
I think so as well. And it was nice having Jerry in studio with us from
It's
Another
was
Sunday
fun.
podcast.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Another podcaster. And things are happening for us. Things are happening. We named this podcast Musicians and Beyond. And our next guest is the beyond part.
Yeah.
He is a musician, but he's got a little bit of everything else going for him.
So let me tell you, our next guest is a singer, a singing impressionist. He is a songwriter. He is an actor. He has so many things in his resume, in his briefcase that he can pull out, and he is so entertaining.
Yeah, it's like if we were to pull all of the people that does the impressions of, the place would be full. We'd have Cher. We'd have
Rodney Dangerfield.
Hey, I'll tell you, I got no respect at all. I'll tell you, I'll tell you, my wife and I, we were happy for 20 years. Yeah, then we met.
All right. Well, without further ado.
So for our audience, here's a real treat. I grew up in Malden. Joey grew up in Malden, and many nights after, carousing the town or just being out with friends, we would end up back in a kitchen on Highland Ave in my wife's house, and we would have some late hours being entertained by Joey, and it never ends. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joey voices Joe Noone.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me.
Joey, man, thanks for coming in.
No problem. Thank you, man. I appreciate you asking me to be on. It's an honor. I've seen some of your guests, and you guys are terrific.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
We're having fun. That's the best part about it.
When you're having fun, everything just goes right.
Absolutely.
It creates good energy, right? We're all about that.
Energy is awesome.
All about the energy, planting good seeds, and you reap what you sow. And I always say the seeds that you plant are spiritual seeds, and that soil, the atmosphere, the soil of the atmosphere is always fertile soil. Those seeds always grow, and there's always a harvest for them. So.
Always grow, yeah. You've always been a very inspirational and positive person. I've never heard you say anything bad about anyone, and the way that you look at everything, the twist that you put on it is just like, and just walking in the door, the energy that you give off is crazy.
I have my moments, get an idea for something, and I'm good at it. I just do it. I don't let, the odds being against it being successful deter me, because if it makes one person smile and puts one smile in somebody's heart, it was worth it for me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You must be really special, because he didn't give you one talent.
No.
He gave you about 7,537. Like, for real, man. Yeah. I mean, you do everything. What's your biggest, most popular thing that you're doing now?
I do. I'm an author. I write all about the law of attraction, and I love doing my show, my stage show. I'm a master singer impressionist, so I impersonate the voices of hundreds of people, and I try to always put new things in the act. And I just recently added a bit with Hootie and the Blowfish, and I just added Dean Martin. That's a good sing along. That's Amore, so that's always a big one. And
nice.
But I went through a midlife crisis when I was 40. I just turned 50. And, you think everything's going great, your life is going awesome, and then all of a sudden you get hit with a curveball, and you're just like, wow. And this one was a real doozy. It kind of threw me off track, and I didn't go out and buy a leather jacket or a convertible, but, I did. It was a blessing in disguise, because I got a really good song out of it, and it forced me to have to reevaluate my thought process about life. And by doing so, I ended up with a radio show, and I ended up studying the law of attraction. When I started studying the law of attraction, I saw the parallels between what I learned in theological seminary. I have a master's degree in theology. I went 7 years of seminary. And I saw the parallels the law of attraction teaches, which is really the law of sowing and reaping, if you think about it. I mean, it's, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And the type of people you attract into your orbit are the same type of people of the energy that you're putting out. So you have to focus on what you do want and you get more of that in your life.
Right. So
that's
you
really-
focused on a lot of things. I mean,
Yeah, but it really worked out, and it's been working on it.
So you get one book out
Yeah,
that's really done really well.
Thank you.
And the name of that are Good Things Are Supposed to Happen to You.
that's right. Do you
And
believe that?
I do.
I do too.
I do.
A lot of
And there's
people
a
don't,
lot of-
unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's why they are where they are.
That's right.
They think that good things can't happen to them, and they're
They think
something.
they're cursed.
No, they're right.
Yeah.
When they think that, they're
Well,
right because they're
100%.
attracting it. So if you
If you think you can't, you're right. If you think you can, you're right.
exactly,
It's all about what you believe, and you're in control of what you think.
so
which
you
is
get
a
you
big
get
part of that book.
into a lot of this in your book.
Yeah.
So let's see. Good things are supposed to happen to you.
Yes.
Where does someone obtain a copy of this book?
You get it on Amazon.com. And it's probably, if you want a signed copy, you can go through joeyvoices.com and it's $20 and I'll sign a copy and mail it out to you. If you want it cheaper, it's probably about $13 on Amazon. And, and when I have when I have a local book signing, if you want me to sign it, you can come and I'll sign it to you. Then I'll take a picture with you.
Cool.
Whatever.
Mark, is he setting us up?
Amazon.com.
Did he give us a book signed? Because he did. He came in bearing gifts.
I did, yeah.
Is he going to leave and say, "All right, guys, it's $20 each"?
No. That's a complimentary for having me on your show.
I got to tell you, I appreciate this.
Thank you.
Really, I
I'm
do.
grateful that you appreciate it. Believe me.
You hit all of those things in this book.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. So that's one of the hats that Joey wears.
Yeah.
He's
one.
an author, really brings a positive spin to a lot of things.
You
Absolutely.
can change your life by changing your thinking.
Let's take that focus and that drive and let's apply it to you coming out of Malden High School and the talent shows you used to do there.
Yeah.
And you took that and you kept going and you had the drive and the motivation and the determination to get to where you are today,
Yep.
performing, and to put yourself in front of bigger and bigger groups every time. You've done a hell of a job at maintaining that discipline.
Because I love it.
Yeah.
If I didn't love it, my nickname growing up was Ricky Ritalin. I was the kid that threw rocks at cars, and I couldn't sit still for anything or focus on anything. So when I find something that I love and I become obsessed with it and I focus on it, and I end up becoming good at it because of my ADD, and you become good at what you obsess over, and you got to obsess over something good that's going to help people. And that's really why I become obsessed about those things, because I know that they're going to add value to the world. Yeah, and that's really my goal. I want to add value to the world.
Yeah. I mean, all of those, all the impressions that you do, it's throwing me for a loop because you come in here and you get very spiritual and serious, and then seeing these videos and seeing you in person on stage, you're like a whole different
I get into character.
You
Wigs
get into
and
it.
Shirts and jackets.
Yeah,
and
one of the
faces.
things that you say in your promo video is what makes you happy is to look in the crowd and see someone laughing, see someone smiling, see someone.
They're never going to forget me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a guy a client of mine 15 years ago. His name's Joe Harold. He works for New York Life Insurance. He remembered me. He goes, "Oh, I remember that kid well. I love that kid. How could you forget that kid?" He goes, "I hired him." He goes, "He was the best entertainer we ever had here."
No kidding.
So
you've done well.
It
You
makes a
get it.
difference.
Yeah, you get a lot of big names that have seen you and have hired you, and they want you back. It's funny. I mean, I can't get the vision of you singing "Cher" with the wig
And with the thong.
Yes, the thong is
the thong's the kicker.
it is the kicker.
Yeah, they love that.
They do love that. So, you do impressions, you do all that stuff. I mean, the people of Musicians and Beyond probably, Mark, am I correct saying they probably want to hear a couple impressions?
They do. And with that, I want to ask Joe, what is your favorite impression to do?
I got a bunch of different ones that I love. I love doing Rodney Dangerfield. I love doing Joe Pesci. I love doing Cher. I love doing Michael McDonald's my favorite.
Yeah.
Michael McDonald's my favorite musical impression to do because when I do his voice, I get goosebumps. And it's he's I got a phone call from Steve Sweeney, actor, comedian Steve Sweeney, and
We mentioned him in yesterday's podcast.
you could get him on. You could get him to come in here, and I could talk to him, but you could get him to come in here and you'd interview him. He's a wonderful guy and very funny guy. He called me on the phone one day and he says, "Hey, Joe, it's Steve Sweeney." I go, "How you doing, brother?" He goes, "Good, I'm on my way to see Michael McDonald." He goes, "That's my favorite impression of you that you do. Will you do it for me? Do it for me." So I'm like, "You don't know me, but I'm your brother. I was raised here in this living hell. And he goes, all right, thanks, click. He didn't even say bye. He just hung up. He's a funny character.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite impressions to do. I love that one. There's a whole bunch, Al Pacino. Well, name is Colonel Frank Slade, U.S. Army retired. What is your motto here? Hooah. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Talking to me? You can't see it because it's not recorded on video, but
you got the face too.
How you doing? It's just Joe Pesci. Funny how? What do you mean funny? The way I talk? Funny how? Funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I'm here to freaking amuse you. The two Utes. How many Italians we got here? Hey, there's a bus outside. Get on it. How many Irish? There's a bus outside. Get under it. Any Jews here? Want to buy a bus? That's an old Henny Youngman joke.
Yeah, you really entertain the people when you're up on stage. You get into it. I mean, they love it. You love it.
I love it.
And you can tell that you love it.
Yeah. I come right out of the gate with Joe Cocker. I come right out. I just come out. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Thank you.
Now,
I wish this was video so the people could see Joey's facial expressions.
We will video his next appearance. We will make sure it's on YouTube, make sure it's on our website, make sure it's on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully by then my new patriotic song will be finished.
That's true.
And we can kind of showcase that a little bit,
Yeah, you get talking about patriotic songs. You've written a bunch of songs.
Yeah,
like you're in pretty much the country.
I love country music,
country genre.
My mother raised me on country music. Yeah, she listened to Alabama, Juice Newton, Kenny Rogers, all those guys when I was a kid.
Yeah, and you've been writing for, I'm guessing, probably 7 or 8 years.
Since 2009.
Yeah. So the reason I say that,
about 13 years.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because Mark and I happen to have seen you the very first public appearance you ever did.
Yeah, I'm not a really good guitar player. So when you asked me to open for Bats and Haynes, I was like, well, I'm not that great. I said, but I'll bring my guitar and I'll sing like a little bit of what I got, and I was grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, no, we were honored to give you that opportunity.
Thank you.
But I'll tell you, for someone that wasn't confident in his guitar playing at the time, the crowd sure as hell liked it.
Yeah, they enjoyed it.
Yeah,
they did enjoy it. That was a good night. That was right after you guys appeared on my radio show.
Yeah.
So it was a few months later.
Voices show.
Yeah, on WMEX. Yeah. That was short-lived.
That's right. We went down
but it was good.
It was good.
It was
it
a
was
good
fun.
show, and we had fun coming in.
Oh, it was great. I had some good guests on.
Yeah.
But
it was good.
Yeah. But now I'm on your show, and this is a wonderful podcast.
Oh, this is the top of the food chain right here.
This is great.
Yeah.
Musicians and beyond.
Musicians and beyond.
Yeah. Musicians, Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah. So, no, I was going to say, you've got a lot of songs. You're big into the military and first responders and stuff like that.
I come from a military family.
Yeah.
So
let's go with that for a minute. So in your show, you make it a point to honor the military in every show. There is one specific song that I know that you sing every time, and the crowd loves it.
Yeah.
America loves it.
Yeah.
Is that Lee Green?
America, sweet America, God shed his grace on thee. Oh. That's a little Ray Charles for you.
You know little Lee Greenwood?
Little Ray Charles, a little Lee Greenwood?
Do you know any of that?
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. Come on, sing with me, fellas. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Yeah, I love Lee Greenwood, man. He's great.
I will say, you're a good singer.
Yeah, we should
I try.
Yeah, Mark and I.
Yeah. So
You guys are good. You're good, you.
But we're
Thanks
having
for
fun.
exposing
You're
us.
good. Yeah.
A little bit.
So, Joe, you've been writing songs. You've done a few. I know that your dad was a huge inspiration in your life, and we all know, for the listeners may not know, but your friends and your family and those around Malden certainly know who your dad was and what a great man he was. Tell us about the song you wrote for your dad.
I wrote a song about my father and everything that he taught me growing up and things he said to me before he passed away and went home to be with the Lord. And it's called Important Things. And I wrote that song in my living room one day, and I wrote it in about 20 minutes, and I tweaked it for about 12 hours, and that was it. I never had to touch it again lyrically. It just worked out perfectly.
Well, it's a special song.
Yeah.
It says a lot about your relationship with your dad.
Yeah, he's my best friend, and I cried for 6 months when he passed. When I lost my dad, I lost my best friend, the guy that I go to for advice, and he always worked with me, and I got to a point where I grew up. I became a man, and I got to make him proud, and he wasn't the kind of guy that gave out those compliments willy-nilly, When he said he was proud of you, you knew that he meant it. And when he said he was proud of me, I just brought tears to my eyes. And but the song's great. You guys can go to iTunes and you can download it, and or you can go to YouTube and you can watch it, the video, and it's a beautiful song. It tugs at your heart. So.
Well, I think we're gonna play it right now.
Oh, good.
I mean, let's do
let
that.
the audience
Sure.
hear it. And this is an original song by Joey Noone about his dad. It's called Important Things. And let's go.
I learned how to barter to save a buck, and I learned how to love like a man. I didn't always do the right thing when I was young. One day I grew up, and before my dad passed on, he grabbed my hand real tight and said to me, I've had my time, I must be moving on. I taught you everything you need to know to make it, son. Someday you'll have a family of your own, and you will teach the important things of life you learn from me. I learned how to smile, and I learned how to cry. I learned a coward dies 1,000 deaths while a man just lives his life. I learned that booze, drugs, and violence only ended in despair. One day I grew up, I learned how to be a son, and I won't forget what Daddy said to me. Yeah, I've had my time, I must be moving on. I taught you everything you need to know to make it, son. One day you'll have a family of your own, and you will teach the important things of life you learn from me. And he said, always remember to treat your woman right, 'cause your children will live what they see. Yeah. He said, never stray that far from home. And then it said to me, I've had my time, I must be moving on. I taught you everything you need to know to make it, son. Someday you'll have a family of your own, and you will teach the important things of life you learn from me. I've had my time, I must be moving on. So glad I got to watch you grow into a man, my son.
important things of life you learn from me. The important things of life you learn from me. Yeah, yeah. Son, I'm proud to see you've turned out just like me.
That was Joey Noone.
Joey Voices. You can find it on iTunes on the Joey Voices.
Wow. What a great, heart-touching song.
Thank you
Just
very much.
watching you listen to
I get
your
goosebumps.
own song.
I get goosebumps when I hear it.
Yeah. Well, I got goosebumps over here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that means that the song worked.
I'll tell you a story about how I wrote it. I was sitting in my living room and watching Highway to Heaven, the old reruns of Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon. And one of the episodes was a family was going to lose their farm, and the government was going to come in and take it, and they couldn't pay the taxes on the land, and the grandfather was dying, coincidentally at the time, and the kid was like, "Grandpa, you can't die," and he says, "Don't worry." It was his son. He goes, "Dad, you can't die. Please don't die." And he says, "I've had my time. I must be moving on, son." And I went, "Oh, man." I started crying. I was thinking of my dad, you know. And I said, "That's a great." And I went, "I've had my time. I must be moving on. Taught you everything." And the melody just started to come to me. So I paused the TV. For 12 hours, that show was paused on my television while I put my guitar out. I wrote it. I wrote the song. I wrote the lyrics. I mean, the melody. And then when I got the melody down, all you got to do when you write a song, you either write the chorus first or the verse first. That particular song was the chorus first. And so I got the chorus down, and I didn't need to write any more of the chorus. I needed to get a verse now. And then I could build on that. I could write a second chorus, a second verse, or whatever, and a bridge if it's necessary or whatever. And when I wrote the chorus, I had to come up with a verse and the melody for the verse. So I come up with the verse melody, and then once I had that down, I knew it, and I was like, okay, now I just have to write a second verse, a second chorus, and then we'll take it from there. And then the song's just built, and I had a pretty much skeleton of the song down in like 20 minutes, and then over the next 12 hours, I wrote and tweaked those lyrics, and boom, I had it.
You know, it's interesting you
came
say
together.
that. You're a very inspirational person and very spiritual person, and you are one of those people that when something hits, you go with it right then and there.
Yeah.
So Joey lived at 54 Christian Road on the third floor. I think apartment A, apartment B was next door. And one day the neighbor said, "I don't get a lot of sleep, but I've never, ever been bored."
It was a woman, right?
That's
yeah.
right.
I never forget that. Because Sharon and Jimmy were my neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, my landlord,
Downstairs,
your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just coincidental that I'm here with you guys now today in this song, and where I was when I wrote it. It was, I know it might have been 2010 when I wrote that. It might have been 2010 because I moved in that apartment in October of 2009. So I think it was 2010 when I started writing. When I wrote that particular song. 2009 is when I started writing, country music.
How many songs do you have in your catalog that you haven't actually put out there?
More. I have more than I haven't produced than I have produced.
Yeah.
So it's, I got a couple that I love that I want to produce, but it'll happen in time.
Well, we're waiting for one in particular, and it's one that I really love, and I think our audience will love it when you're done in the studio.
Yeah.
You're coming back as a guest, and I can't wait to put that song out there because I've always said that this song that Joey's going to put out soon is by far one of my favorites, and
It's
that's
my
saying a
favorite.
lot. Yeah.
Other than the one I wrote about my dad,
Yeah.
this is actually my favorite because it's I wrote it for the troops overseas, and it's called "Send Pictures of America."
Yeah,
And it's a really, really good tune, man.
You can get a treat of it, and his acoustic version is on his Instagram and on his
on my Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
So you can get a teaser of it, but it's not anything compared to what it's going to be when he's done producing it in the studio. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, hopefully we get Fly Amaro in there. Fly Amaro is the guitarist for the 70s and 80s band Orleans.
Oh, sure.
And, they sang Dance with Me, I want to be your partner, can't you see? And still the one that makes me laugh. Still the one that's my better half. We're still having fun. And you're still the one. Yet you are.
Well,
That's Fly O'Meara's the one of the original guitarists for that band, and he's friends with my producer Linda Chase, and we were lucky to have him come in, and he said to me, he goes, "I love your stuff, man." He goes, "I want to work on all your songs, man." He goes, "I love your melodies, man. They're great." Wow. So I said, "Well, the honor's all mine having you, Fly." You know, we got a lot of big names, national names out of Boston, you know, and we're blessed to know those guys, you know.
So I'm gonna give a shout out to another podcast that we were fortunate to have the guest on, and I'll draw the parallel in a moment, because the podcast is Country Music Success Stories, and it's down in Nashville, and it's Candy O'Terry and J.C. Don Valeris, and so that these two have a great show, and I want you to go back and listen to the episode where Chris Lindsay is a guest, and Chris and his wife Amy are singer-songwriters and performers, but that episode in particular, I want you and I want the audience to go listen to. It's Country Music Success Stories, and this episode is a lot of what you've talked about here. Mm-hmm. You're going to hear Chris talk about, and when you hear it, you're going to go back and listen and go, "Oh my God, it's almost verbatim." Your words.
Really?
It's about drive, about motivation, about talent. It's about I
love guys like that. I can't wait to meet them.
When you hear about a success pie chart, you're going to say, "Oh my God!" And so many other things that he spoke about in that episode. Really drawn right to you.
That's
and
awesome.
It's very, very.
And Candy O'Terry's a wonderful girl.
Wonderful person.
I love her.
Yeah. And so
she moved to Nashville.
and she
I didn't
and
know that.
JC
She was
Dawn
Oldies 103, right?
Yeah. Magic 106.
Magic 106. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's awesome.
So go back and listen to that episode with Chris Lindsay on Country Music Success Stories, and make sure that you follow that line of thinking, because it's right up your alley.
That's great.
But before we move on to closing the show at some point, I want to talk about other parts of your career. Mm-hmm. You've done shows. What was one of the favorite shows or the performances that you've done in a play? Or
It's funny. I was just thinking about this the other night. I got a phone call from a girl. Her name was her mother. It was actually her mother, but the little girl, she was 11 years old, and she had leukemia. Her name was Jenna Jacobs. She lived in Malden, and mother called me and said she's got leukemia. She doesn't have long to live, and we're doing a fundraiser to pay for her medical bills, and we would love for you to do it. So I donated my time for it, because it was just the lady just pulled at my heartstrings, and you can't work for nothing all the time, but there's certain things where you just say, your money's no good in my pocket. I can't take your money. It's for this little girl. And well, the little girl come up to me at the fundraiser and gave me a big hug. She had a scarf on her head, and she lost all her hair. Nobody should have to go through that period, but especially a little girl. And she gave me a big hug, and she said, "I have a cat, and he's black and white like your shoes." She goes, "And I named him after you." I said, "Real?" She goes, "Yeah, I named him Joey Meows." Joey Meows. That's the best story I have in my career, and I got a lot of good stories.
How heart touching?
How do you top that story? And I was in tears. I was just bawling my eyes out. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you can't top a story like that." No. And then the girl ended up passing away like a few weeks later, and and just God rest her soul. But Jenna Jacobs was her name, and may her memory and her name always be for a sweet memory.
Yeah, let's dedicate this whole episode to Jenna Jacobs and
her cat Joey Meows.
Joey Meows,
black and white cat.
Yeah, and I think our listeners should consider.
Shoes.
Yeah, the shoes. It's because of my shoes. She saw my shoes and named her cat after me.
Love those shoes.
Joey Meows. Joey's voice is Joey Meows.
Yeah. And our listeners should consider donating to the Leukemia Society as well. I mean, what a great organization that is to help people that are dealt with an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I got a bunch of stories I could tell, but I don't want to tell anymore, because that you can't top that story. I mean, we can tell more stories the next time.
Next episode, absolutely.
Just hear that right there is I was thinking about it the other night, and I was in tears again. All these years later, it's just something that always pulled at my heartstrings. So and that's the highlight. Well, there's a lot of things I could say were the highlight of my career, but this one was personal.
Well, I can tell you, the audience should know that when Joey does something like that, he gets asked to perform and donate his time at a lot of charities and to do a lot of work for free. It's hard for a performer to do that all the time, as Joey said. But
That's my main career.
We know you give back quite a bit. Yeah. And we know that you do a lot. Joey is also on the board of the Middlesex County Deputy Sheriff's Association with friends of ours. He supports the Middlesex Sheriff's officers.
Homeless veterans.
And does a lot of work on their behalf.
Gold Star families.
Gold Star families, yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Richie Redican, our president, and our former president, Mike Jacopo. He just turned 90. 91.
I was with him a few nights ago. He's a wonderful man. Great guy.
He's one of the guys that arrested Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strangler. And, he was a Cambridge detective for all those years. And
storied career right there.
And let me tell you, you'll never hear him brag. No. He's not a braggart. You here's things about that man that people don't know that you'd just be blown away. And then that's a lifelong career as a Cambridge detective and with the Sheriff's Association. Yeah. So,
he's been a great leader for that organization. He was an incredible police officer over the years.
And it was an honor for them to when they asked me to come aboard, I said, I've never given my name to any organizations because you don't know where the money's going. With these guys, the money's going where they say it's going.
Absolutely.
You talk about honor. These guys have honor and the highest caliber of character. And so to put my name with those guys is just one of the greatest honors of my life.
Here,
so,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know you too. You too. So.
Yeah, this was fantastic having Joey Voices in studio with us.
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's like
musicians and beyond. He has it all. I mean, he goes well beyond music, and he brought the music, and he brought a lot more, and he brought inspiration. He brought spirituality. He brought laughter.
Laughter, so tears, everything. He brought all the emotions.
Yeah.
I never heard the Cher impersonation.
I'm not going to do it, but because I want people to pay for a ticket. You got to pay for something. You can see it on YouTube.
Well, with that said, do you have any shows coming up?
Well, I'm working with Wicked Bites and Scott Whitley, and we're working on trying to find a venue. We're trying to find the right venue to do the show, and so we're trying to find a venue that's priced just right, so that we can get on there and start marketing it on WRKO and on Nesson and everything. So once we do that, we'll do. But we're going to be doing a show, hopefully at Pearl Street Station. We're going to try to shoot for November, early November if we can, and we'll be talking about that because we have the Malden Medford game coming up at Fenway Park for Thanksgiving Day, and that's going to be on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And hopefully you guys will get you down to do the podcast down there. And
we will be there.
Yeah, good, beautiful. I'll talk to Paul Solano, and Paul's, you won't find a better guy than Paul Solano. He's just a wonderful human being and one of my best friends.
Absolutely.
And I know he's one of yours too. So, and we're gonna get that in the works, and we're gonna try to get a bunch of people to stop by that day because Malden has the late game at Fenway that night, and it's a 7:30 Malden Medford, and that's the oldest rivalry in the country for Thanksgiving Day football games. And my dad was the quarterback for Malden High in 1955, number 23, Tom Noone. And I'm proud of that.
You should be. Yeah. I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Anything we can do to support you and the causes that you support and anything that we can do to make that day and every one of your events spectacular, we want to be a part of making that happen.
And I do too. And if anybody wants to donate to the Middlesex County Deputy Sheriff's Association, it's on Venmo. It's at MCDSA. Middlesex County Deputy Sheriff's Association, MCDSA. And that's Richard Redican. He's the president. That's his name will come up. And the money that goes to that charity, it goes out to homeless veterans in Middlesex County. And, we give to Down syndrome, autism.
Scholarships.
For
kids to go to school.
Yeah, the Gold Star families. Who've lost children and loved ones in combat. Yeah. So that's very, very near and dear to my heart and Mark and John's. So if you guys want to give to that, you can give at Venmo, and it's at MCDSA, and it's Richard Reddick, and he's the president of our association. That's awesome. Richie's a decorated Special Forces combat veteran himself.
Yes, he is.
And he'd never brag about that. He's not that kind of person, but talking to him, he's a humble, gentle guy and one of my close friends. So.
So to learn more about Joey, go to joeyvoices.com. It's a great website. It's got he's got a promo video that'll have you rolling in your couch and in your chairs. Yeah. You will not stop laughing. And if you get a chance, get out to one of his shows. We'll be, every time we know of a listing coming up or a show coming up, we will be advertising it here on our show. So if we have audience members looking for a great time,
we could do a podcast. Maybe we could do a live podcast at one of my shows. You guys come down and set up, and we'll do it. And we'll come in. We'll get there a few hours early. We'll do the show, do it live, and then we'll come in and we'll take some video of the show.
Awesome.
And then maybe you can kind of splice it into the podcast.
We can do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
excellent. Well, a lot of our audience will get tired of hearing this, but one of our past guests, and you're very close to her, you know her well, Vanessa Salvucci called us.
I love Vanessa.
She's the best.
And she's awesome.
You're part of what
I met Vanessa the night of that event.
Oh yeah, up there at Stoneham. Yeah,
Melissa's, yeah. That's when I met her. She's a wonderful girl.
Yeah, very nice girl.
She
very
coined
talented.
us the Knucklehead Networkers, and I think you're now a part of that group.
I'm proud to be part of that.
Well, Joe, you've given us a lot of content here for the show, and
we gave a lot of plugs out today too. So that's
absolutely, yeah. It's been a fun show.
Yeah,
it's been
John,
fun.
take it away.
So yeah, I mean, on behalf of Musicians and Beyond, Joey, it's been unbelievable hearing about your book.
Thank you.
Hearing your music. Hearing your impressions, getting your spiritual outlook on things, and your inspirations. Just, I mean, all that for a price of one ticket. I mean,
it's a tip of the iceberg,
dude. I'd pay double for that. I mean, this has been awesome. I mean, Mark and I really enjoyed when we heard that you were looking forward to coming in.
Oh, I love you guys. You guys have been my friends for a long time. I've been friends with Mark since I was 19 years old. I'm 50 now. When I was coming up and as a 19-year-old and novice, and I didn't even know how to tie my shoes for crying out loud. You guys took me under your wing and became my friends.
Good families
I'll never
and friends
forget
find
that.
each other. So.
Absolutely, and I love you guys for that.
Well, thank you.
Well,
here.
we love you too, man, and thanks for coming in. I mean, Mark, likes to end the show a special way. I
want to leave you with one final note before he ends it. It's not the minutes at the dinner table that make you fat. It's the seconds.
Boom. So,
with talking about our history and how long we've all been friends together, we like to end the show and talk to, every time someone comes in the studio, we feel like we've made a new friend, right? Well, here we have an old friend in with us. So thank you for being our friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.